Welcome back, my friends. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take care of a few housekeeping items, and then after those housekeeping items, we're going to go into a presentation that I have prepared. So, first and foremost, I have an award, and the winner is, after this breakout session, Barbara Frank. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. All right. Second thing, on your tables, there should be cards, and this is also for those virtual. You can actually send this in via the chat. We are going to be doing the panel later today, and we're looking for your questions. The questions that I would be asking if I were you is from this point of view. You're running your business. You're trying to be more efficient. And so we're looking at the production side of your company. What is it that you would like to ask the panelists as it relates to workflow efficiencies, perhaps tech stack related items? Maybe it's standard operating procedures, onboarding procedures. These are the things that relate to how you're able to do the work efficiently and productively. Why? Because the more efficient you are, the more profitable you'll be. So therefore, we want to ask this panel what it is they would suggest that can be done to run your business very well. It's very much like what we had heard Michelle speaking of just a little bit earlier, your team, delegation, and so forth. So that's what I would expect you to be asking, and we'll cover that in the panel discussion. That being said, we're going to jump now into the presentation. So first and foremost, what I want to do is invite you to get your journals out. And with your journals, we're going to dive into a few things that I think are very important. So those of you online as well as here, join me as we dive into your business and address a number of things that I think are very critical. We're going to build upon the things that were shared earlier by the other speakers and actually help you build what I refer to is your business as an accountrepreneur. Now, if you've not heard that term before, it's something that I regularly mention. It is the merging of your skill set, that of being an accounting expert, a bookkeeper, a tax preparer. And as an accounting expert, it's recognizing you also are running a business. You're an entrepreneur. Whether you're a solopreneur without employees or actually running a very large firm, as some of you have with multiple locations and so forth, you have to recognize that it's not just enough to be a great accountant. You also have to have paying customers. You need to actually work on your business. And therefore, we're talking about what that looks like to become an accountrepreneur. Now, to be that accountrepreneur, we're going to emphasize what I refer to, or what is, the universal business model. The universal business model is made up of three things. And if you've been taking notes, you'll notice that this is at the very beginning of the conference what I shared earlier. It's also perhaps on the very front of your journal. If you look at the very front of your journal, you'll either have a universal logo or you'll have this, the universal business logo, right there in front of you. It's made up of three things. M for marketing and sales, A for the accounting services that you're offering, bringing value to the client, and secondly, production, the way in which you work efficiently to produce those quality services that you have profitably. In the center, the more you're able to do each of those three things well, as they come together, you enlarge that center area, which is in fact that profitability. That's what we're trying to do here. And so we're going to be talking about that today. Now, as it relates to this, I'm going to be issuing a challenge to you here shortly. And this challenge is in fact for you to be the best you can be, to seize the opportunity before us, offer quality services, and work on your business. Now, the podcast that I host is called Building the Premier Accounting Firm. And some people question what that really is. In order to have the premier accounting firm, I do feel that it actually incorporates a few essential things. First and foremost, it's you. You as an individual are the rock of your business. Think about this for a moment. As a business, everything hinges on you. The energy that you bring to the business is what brings or draws your clients in. The energy that you bring to the business is what brings or draws your employees in. It's that thing alone that I feel is so important, is you. The second thing that we want to understand as it relates to the premier accounting firm is the fact that you actually put into place standard operating procedures that enable you to provide quality services to your clients consistently, predictably. Now, your services may range from a variety of things. In this room, I know we have bookkeepers who solely offer bookkeeping services. That's phenomenal. We have others here who are doing tax planning, perhaps tax preparation, possibly CFO and advisory, accounting work. All of you each have your business as it should be, yours, where you decide how you want to niche down your services, focus on certain industries. You're determining the relationships that you have with your clients. My challenge to you now is to put that hat on of right now I'm going to work on my business and explore what I can do to become that premier firm for my clients so that I can give them that wow experience I spoke of on day one, retain them, and increase the lifetime value of that connection or that relationship. Now, that being said, I'm going to talk about these three core services that I just mentioned. And I'm going to define them because I do believe that we as an industry, as a profession, tend to throw them around more as synonyms too often, and I believe it confuses us and it confuses the client. So I'm going to define these. First and foremost, I'm going to break these things down into three categories. The first category is that of bookkeeping and accounting services. Recognize that to your client, this very well may be one in the same. They don't understand what you're selling them. The engagement letter that you had them sign says this, but really, what are they expecting from you? Let's define that. First and foremost, if you're choosing to do the recording of the transactions, the preparing of the financial reports, you're giving them this information on a regular basis, then clearly you're providing the bookkeeping work that needs to be done and they are compliant. Wonderful. But there is a second component to that, and that is the accounting work that can be done. Now, David and I had a conversation earlier, and this is something that I think is very common in the profession because I've had this numerous times, and it's the distinction between what is bookkeeping and accounting. Because unfortunately, there are some places in our country where you're unable to use the term accounting or accountant unless you're a CPA. I want to be very clear here, perhaps disruptive. If all you are doing are preparing the financial reports for your clients, I don't care what education you have, what designation you hold, you are a bookkeeper. You're doing write-up work. Unless you're actually then taking this information and providing to your client an analysis of those financial reports where you're diving deeper into the trends of what's going on in the organization, unless you're offering to that business owner an insight as to the narrative of what the company is experiencing through the lens of accounting, you are not providing accounting services. Accounting services is literally taking those financial reports and now, through the eyes of an accountant, looking at how is gross profit evolving or changing month over month, quarter over quarter, year over year as it relates to the cost of goods from the revenue we're generating. Has inflation impacted this business model that they now need to raise prices? These are conversations the accountant has that the bookkeeper may not be doing. Let's talk about tax preparation and planning. Clearly, you can do the preparation and have a very successful business. You're offering individual preparation, business preparation, very good. You could be making hundreds of dollars an hour, happy as a clam, and I love it as a business. Very successful. But tax preparation is not tax planning or advisory work. Tax planning and advisory is where you're actually going into strategies. What are the things that you can be doing with your client to mitigate their tax liability? What are those meetings you're having throughout the year to help them implement things, purchase things, do things that can actually minimize their tax liability legally? If you're simply preparing the taxes, fine, but don't say that you're offering planning and advisory services when you're only meeting with the client once a year when they're providing you the information, doing the work, and then having them come back in and sign it. Those are very distinct services. Do you clearly define them as it relates to your engagement with your client? The third happens to be that of CFO and advisory services. CFO and advisory is clearly a distinct thing. We need to do a better job of, one, understanding how it differs for ourselves, because too many, too often, are offering this as a value-added service that you're not paid for, but yet you're providing simply because you're kind and you like the client, and maybe they ask a question here and there, and therefore you're offering this. But what does it really mean to offer CFO and advisory services? And more importantly, how can you package it in order to then charge for it and be paid for it? Here's the distinction. The easiest way to define CFO services is related to the cash flow management of the business model within the company. When a business is running, they're looking at what's going on from accounts payable to accounts receivable. We've got clients paying us money. How quickly are we collecting that revenue? Are we collecting enough of it up front? Are we actually getting the money, holding the money before it's owed in the payable side, that we're not actually dependent on or leaning into our lines of credit or additional capital? Is the customer able to pay for that product or service such that we're actually able to now get the money and pay payables so that we can earn some interest perhaps? That business model is what the CFO is involved in. They're helping the business owner understand whether or not what they're doing as a company is viable. The CFO is getting involved in conversations as it relates to banks, getting lines of credit, getting capital, working with venture capitalists. This is what's happening as you're running that business at that CFO level. You're advising the business owner on the operational side of the company. That CFO is also involved with payroll discussions. What's happening as it relates to, we make a sale, well, how do we compensate the people that are involved in the sales relationship? Are we paying them a commission, a salary? These are the types of discussions that the business owner is having, not with their accountant, not with their bookkeeper. These are CFO-related discussions. So if you happen to be having these conversations, do you recognize what you're offering? CFO-related services. Let's talk about the advisory. The advisory is where you're stepping more into the role of helping the business owner actually create their asset. It's the EBITDA discussion as to what's the end goal with this company? What's the exit plan? How do we actually work on creating a business that is sellable? That if a private equity firm were to come in, if something traumatic were to occur and we needed to sell the company, are we in a position that we've built an organization that is independent of the business owner themselves, that they could walk away and the company be retained? Have they put into place standard operating procedures within the organization that enable them to actually have a company that thrives in their absence? Michelle was saying that through Clockwork, she was able to create an organization that she could leave for 4 weeks. That's not what a bookkeeper helps a business owner do. That's not what an accountant helps a business owner do. That is not what a tax preparer or a tax planning strategist does. That's what a CFO and an advisor does. When you're working in that capacity, you should be paid accordingly. So understanding these distinctions helps you, I believe, explain better the services you offer, package better the services you provide, and clearly price them accordingly so you can be paid fairly for the services you offer. Now, I'm going to say right now that there are some of you in this room that love the idea of working away from the bookkeeping roles that exist in your organization, the tax planning and preparation that's perhaps occurring in your organization, that you personally aren't doing bookkeeping any longer. You're personally not doing tax preparation any longer. Why? Because you want to actually elevate your relationship with your clients so that you're having these types of interactions and being paid far more for these types of services. But are you packaging them, pricing them, and delivering them accordingly? Could your client see this distinction as it relates to the services you provide? Now let me pause for a moment. Some of you are saying, but I'm just a bookkeeping business. I'm just a tax preparation business. That's totally fine. Here amongst this group, what I would challenge you to do then is find someone with whom you can collaborate, that I do the bookkeeping and Sally, works with you as the tax advisor, and Tom works with you as your CFO and advisor. I do the bookkeeping, and in doing the books, I prepare those for Tom to then meet with you from a CFO perspective. We are your accounting team. This doesn't have to fall entirely on your shoulders. If you feel that you are the tax expert, remain that. Hire a bookkeeper or collaborate with some other firm that you can now work with, because I'll tell you, Tom, who's doing the CFO and advisory, when he gets a client and their books are a mess, does he want to do the books? No, but if you collaborated together and you've distinguished yourself as being that bookkeeping resource, Tom's going to turn to you and say, hey, I've got another client. I'm doing the CFO work. Guess what? Garbage in, garbage out. I can't work with them. Could you help clean up their books and do their books? Did you just get a new bookkeeping client? Of course you did. And then Sally over here, by the way, books are great, but it looks like you're paying a lot in taxes. You should work this with Sally. She's the great tax preparer. I'm hoping that you realize that whether it be your firm or the collaborations you have, we as a profession need to be better servicing our clients. And this is what they're expecting from the accounting profession. Where is it that you're not meeting that need? Where is it in this organization, this collaboration, this group, could you fill those holes and take care of the clients as they're needed? Now, there is a book that I wrote that addresses this. It's written from the perspective of the business owner to help educate them as to what they should be asking for, expecting, and paying for as it relates to accounting services. It is Your Strategic Accountant, and guess what it does? It touts you. It says why you are important in their business success, why they need to be leaning on you so that they can be successful. Now, in that context, what it does is it also helps explain what you should be doing as you're speaking with your clients. And so I highly recommend getting this perspective as it relates to building the premier accounting firm. Now, that brings me to this. Your business then needs to have these distinct core offerings. You need to be very clear on who your ideal clients are. We talked about niching down. I think it's more than just the industry that you would want to focus on. It's also the personality types of the business owners. Some of us, regardless of the industry, we like certain people. We work well with, let's say, an A type, somebody that is high energy, quick, cut to the chase, give me the information. I don't want to look at the data. You work with another business owner and they want the information. Where are the reports? Let's look at everything together. Let's analyze it. Well, who do you prefer to work with? Do you like that mover and shaker that is one not wanting a lot of your time? Or are you working with someone that is actually a little bit more dependent on you, calls you regularly, wants to have that hour-long meeting, is interested in the data? Well, who do you prefer to work with? You need to be that clear as to who your ideal client is. It's not specifically an industry that you're niching into. It is also that client relationship type. The other that you want to look at is your value proposition. Earlier, I said on Monday, in your journal, you need to be explaining what your offers are, and I had you on the left-hand side list your features. If you were to turn in your journal to that page, I think it's becoming clear what are the services you offer. And perhaps at the very bottom of the page, here are some gaps. Here are a few things that I should be providing to my clients that today I don't currently offer. And you've got two solutions, in my opinion. Find someone with whom you can collaborate and say, I have an associate who does that. Or you need to go get the skill for you to be able to now start offering that. Or thirdly, you need to hire someone who comes with that skill set that you can employ and have them provide that service to complement what you're already doing. On that second page in the journal, it was now the benefits associated with those features. That's where this comes in. Your value proposition is clearly what is it that the client gets uniquely from having you do that work. Yes, you're the bookkeeper. Yes, you're the accountant. Yes, you're the tax preparer, the tax advisor, the CFO. But so is somebody else down the street. So is somebody else that's trying to advertise or market to them. So why stay with you? Can you define what's unique about that client relationship? What is it that wows them? Now, having articulated all that, let's go now to the secret to success. I had this conversation earlier at the conference with one of the individuals here that's gone through a variety of trainings, and he asked something that I've been asked again and again and again. What is it that is the secret for success? When do I know I have enough training? When do I know I have enough CPE? When do I know that I have the resources that I can actually go out and do this? And it varies for every single one of you. Each of us have to do whatever's necessary to get to that point where you can say, I have the confidence to look a business owner in their eyes and say, I can take care of your accounting needs. For some of you, it's the 15, 20, 25 years of experience you've had doing the work. For some of you, it's the degree you received as let's say a bachelor's, master's degree in accounting. Some of you, it's the credentials you've gone out and received because you went and became, let's say, a CPA, an enrolled agent, a professional bookkeeper, a professional tax preparer. Each of these designations represent that a third party has tried and tested you and confirmed you, in fact, have the skills needed to service that client. Whatever is essential for you to have that credential and have confidence looking a business owner in the eye is for you to decide. I work with some individuals, 25 years, they're rocking it. They're out there, they're doing phenomenally well, they're enjoying themselves, and they can walk into any business and clearly take care of that client's needs. For others, they need that degree, they need that certification. That's fine. You just need to find whatever it does or whatever it is that gives you that confidence. Now, as a side note, as it relates to Universal Accounting Center, we're doing things to try and provide that. GrowCon is literally a way for you to connect with your peers so that you can get the collaborations to say, I'm part of a group that if I had a question, I made connections that if I needed to, I could reach out to someone and ask the question. For some of you, you participate in our Facebook group, AB Tips, where there you have a community of individuals that you can just reach out to and get that communication you're needing. Whatever it's taking, get that confidence. Second, it's the competence. Many of us are very, very good at confidently getting the client. Yes, I can take care of you. My services cost this much. Love it. Here's the engagement. Beautiful, signed, credit card, and you're off to the office. The challenge now becomes delivering. Do you have the processes, the operating procedures, the technology and tools that you need to efficiently do the work? The way I prefer to look at it is I'm not going to challenge you as to whether or not the accuracy of the tax filing was done right, the accuracy of the financial reports, are the numbers accurate? That's not the question. I'm going to presume you know how to do that. I'm going to challenge how fast you did it. Did it take you 8 hours to do a 2-hour job? Well, no wonder you're frustrated. It's not that you don't know what you're doing it so inefficiently, it's not profitable. Therefore, we're needing to look at what can you do to streamline your processes so that you and your team can be more effective, therefore profitable. That's the correlation. That is the secret recipe. It's the simplest way to define what determines success in our profession. Your confidence and your competence. Those two things will get you the money you deserve. Okay? Now, that being said, I do want to point out that with Universal, you can be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. Perhaps you've heard that phrase before. That's one of the things that I'm very proud of in the fact that for nearly 3 decades, I've worked with accounting professionals to assist you to thrive and be in business for yourselves. One of the things that's fascinating, at least about Universal Accounting, is we're not a franchise. Therefore, I'm there to assist you without royalties, without any kickbacks. I'm basically helping you be successful running your business as you wish to have it. Part-time, full-time, this service, that service. What we're trying to do is enable you as a profession to be successful. That actually starts with a foundation of those credentials. If you feel you need that certification, that training, that actual education to make sure you're doing this right, by all means, become a professional bookkeeper, a QuickBooks specialist, a professional tax preparer, a profit and growth expert. Why? Those skills are going to enable you to be confident in your abilities to service that client and do so competently. You take that then and you go up to the next level and you've got your peer collaboration. That is exactly this. It is GrowCon. Every year coming here and hearing not only what the experts have to say, but talking and mingling and finding out what your peers are doing, what's happening at their level. That inspiration is going to be powerful. It's joining with those people in the Facebook group. AB Tips, free. Go in and join. If you're someone that's on Facebook, you should be in there. Why? Because it's accounting professionals reaching out and assisting one another with day-to-day situations and issues. It's that peer collaboration that makes you feel like it's not only you doing the work. You don't have to know everything. The next happens to be the Universal Support Network. With our programs, many of you are aware that you're actually assigned an academic coach, someone to assist you in real-world application of situations that you may be experiencing. As you're going through those situations, you're talking to someone who is a practicing accounting professional, tax professional. Those types of connections give you the ability to still be confident in your services. And then the last there happens to be you're thriving as an independent bookkeeper, accountant, or tax professional. That is what I feel enables you to be successful. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take all of that, and we're going to now bundle it together and issue you a challenge. The first is this. We have a toolbox. This vendor experience that we've offered at GrowCon is but a limited supply of obviously the things you're using as resources to be successful. So we're putting together a toolbox of not only them, but others that have been defined as the must-haves or go-to, either tech support, contacts, resources that you need to be aware of. The toolbox is a virtual trade show. This is going to be a place where we're going to, through your input, through the input of other experts, pull in the best of the best so that you can actually see, evaluate, and determine what thing you need next to actually build your business. That toolbox is going to be an interactive place where we're going to be able to collaborate and make sure that we as a profession are using the tools needed to be successful. In addition to the toolbox, what we have here is the conference takeaways. Look at your journal. Do you have actionable items leaving here? Those actionable items, I'm going to give you some suggestions now. Because if you're like me and some of the others who've said it, this has been a fire hose experience, has it not? 3 full days of information overload. So let me help you. You have in front of you the universal business model. So let's just break this down. I'm going to have you pick one of 3 answers that you need to focus on. So I'm going to ask 3 questions. You're going to pick one of these 3. First, is your business such that you're needing to grow right now and acquire more clients? Or is your business plenty busy? You've got all the clients you like. However, you feel the relationships with your clients are undervalued or underpriced. You need to deliver more services to your clients, raise your prices. You need to do something that takes the clients you're currently serving and better serve them and get better paid. Or you've got plenty of clients. I don't need any more. I love what I'm doing with my clients, and I feel I'm paid fairly for what I'm doing. I love what I'm making. However, my production is lacking. I feel like I'm working too many hours. I feel like I'm always overwhelmed. I feel as if I'm not efficient in my workflows. I need to delegate more. Pick one of the 3. Some of you are saying, but Roger, it's all 3. Roger, I need more clients. I'd love to get paid better, and I need to work more efficiently. Okay, I get that for some of you, you're like, okay, it's everything. I need you to pick one. However, step 2 of this process is to take all the action items that you've been accumulating in your journal, and you need to organize them as to whether or not they're marketing and sales oriented, M, They're related to your ability to offer quality services, enhancing the service offering, bringing more value to your clients, A, and it perhaps may include a price increase, by the way. Or it's the third, production. The action items that you have are correlating to, I need to implement this, research this. I need to figure out how to do this better and faster. I need to delegate this. I need to have Sally and Tim and Tom get trained in this better. I need to have them do more of this, and I need to step away. That's the production side of your business. I want you to take all the action items that you have that right now are overwhelming you because of this fire hydrant experience, and I want you to now organize them into those three categories. Essentially, what's going to happen is those 50 things that you have are going to become 10, 20, and 30. Or that's 50. So 10, 20, and 20. There we go. That makes the math a little bit better. Now that you've got your 10, 20, and 20, is it a little bit more manageable? Yeah, the 50 isn't so daunting. I've got 10 of this, I've got 20 of this, I've got 20 of this. Next step. I want you to take those things that are now categorized into these three areas, and I want you to ask the question, 1, what is the thing that I have the most impact with that I can do, and doing so would have the quickest or biggest reaction, effect, result? By taking those 10 things in marketing and realizing of the 10 things I want to do, there's 3 here that if I did them, I could get them done in a day or in a week, and honestly, I think they would actually move the needle a little bit. Guess what? The 10 just became what? 1, 2, or 3. Well, that's manageable. I can handle that. Of the accounting things, I need to be doing, let's say, with my accounting services, I need to do a Loom video with my financial reports when I deliver it to my clients. Or like David was suggesting, I need to take the P&L and I need to take it in the balance sheet and I need to give it to ChatGPT and say, here are the monthly, quarterly, and perhaps year-to-date reports between this year 25, last year 24. Could you now compare these and give me some actionable things that are different, that are trending, that I need to bring to the attention of my client, and give me 3 bullet points. You throw it in there, it comes out and it says, here's your agenda to discuss next with your client, so that you can actually now seem as if you're now helping them rather than just giving them pieces of paper or PDFs in an email. Oh my heavens, now I've got something here that I can now deliver, offering more value, and all of a sudden that value is retaining my clients longer. It's improving the relationship that I have with them. The concern of my losing them is different. The fact that I feel that I'm not priced well, now I'm offering more value. I feel I can raise my prices. Okay, you've addressed that. Those are the 20 things that now became 2, 3, 4 things that you can incorporate into your procedures that now improve the services you're offering. Perfect. Let's now go to production. You've got 20 things there. The 20 things. What's something that I could actually implement, do, that would impact the efficiency in the office? I need to have Sally do this. I need Tom to do this. I'm going to do this moving forward. All of a sudden, those things that you're leaving here feeling overwhelmed by just became manageable. The best thing that I would suggest you do for yourself is when you leave here today, is you go back to the office and not just take this journal and set it on the bookshelf and say, wow, it was a great experience. I have wonderful feelings. I made wonderful connections. But my office, my workflow, my business next week doesn't change. A month from now doesn't change. I am trying to help you take what you're experiencing here and implement it. I say this in other conferences. I didn't say it here yet. I'm going to say it here today. One of the best pieces of advice that I got related to conferences was the following. Not only to attend them, but if I went to a 2-day conference, this is a 3-day obviously, I would then, after the conference, in addition to my travel day, add 2 days that I blocked everything out so that I would be able to take and digest and implement the things I learned at the conference. So if it's a 2-day conference, I would have 2 days blocked off for me to go back and actually put into place what I've learned. Rather than, I've been gone for 2 days, I come back to the office and I have 2 days worth of work that I now need to get caught up on, and I never do anything that I learned. You have to set aside the time to do this. So in reality, this 2-day conference became a 4-day experience. Do you follow me? That's what we're trying to do here. Give yourself time to work on your business and actually implement the things that we're discussing. That is the universal business model put into practice. This is how I run our business. This was revolutionary to me to not just learn, but to actually use in making management decisions. Whether you're a solopreneur running a large organization, this will save you all the time. It makes all the things that you're overwhelmed by manageable. Okay? Now, that being said, here are some of the takeaways from the conference. Earlier at the beginning of the day, I had you write these down to answer, and I hope you've had time to reflect on them and begin answering them and filling them out. If you haven't, I invite you to do this as you travel home to fill these in. But I am going to now have you take out your phone. Take out your phone. I'm going to offer you a challenge that I would love all of you to participate in. This is basically a challenge to you. It is a challenge that I'm offering so that you can actually become a better person, a better business, and better service your clients. And it's going to be very simple. I want you to scan this QR code and fill out the form on the page. Here at GrowCon, I created for you what I'm referring to as the Accountrepreneurs Challenge. I'm going to, over the course of the coming weeks, send you very simple emails with an actionable thing to go do. That actionable thing, one day, may be literally 5 minutes. Another day, it honestly may take an hour or so. But this challenge will help you become a better person, a better manager and leader. It will help you become a better accounting professional. It will improve your internal operations and procedures and your relationship with your staff. It will improve the relationships you have with your clients. In the coming days and weeks, I've put together a process that you'll, through this challenge, be able to work on yourself and your company. I invite you to fill out this form right now and begin this process. Why? I don't want you to leave here and get stuck back in the ruts, the routines, the things that you've always been doing. It is now time to change and become the premier accounting firm in your area. That is my challenge to you. We're going to take together the coming days and weeks to basically work on the exact same thing. You're all going to get the exact same email at the exact same time, and this is going to give us a chance to actually do the exact same thing together. I have gone through this as I've prepared it, and I love what it is. Why? Not because I did it, because it is me sharing with you what I have felt made me a better person, a better manager and leader, what I have learned from other experts as to how to be a better business owner. And I'm sharing those with you here. Now, I also want to encourage you to come back to GrowCon in 2026. If you have not yet registered, I want to encourage you to take advantage of the $500 savings that is right now in place. It is the cheapest you'll get your tickets. It expires today. Get your tickets now. If you have not gotten your tickets, let me stress, VIP. Coming the 2 days prior and actually spending time with me and my staff is a phenomenal experience. It is something that is just pure joy. It is just us being, in some instances, just fun people, in other ways, very inspired and so forth. It's something that you don't want to miss. So join us as a VIP. Get front row. You get some extra amenities, but the point is you actually get to work on yourself. So with that being said, I appreciate you being here. I love that you've spent your time with me. I've enjoyed getting to know you, and I hope that you've enjoyed getting to know me. I like this stuff. Accounting's fun. This is a beautiful profession. You do make a difference. Why? Because accounting success is universal. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here. Have a wonderful day.